Lola was only 5 years old when her life changed forever. She had been living happily with her parents in village, a quiet village in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Her mother always called her "my sunshine" because she was cheerful and full of life. Her father would lift her high into the air every evening when he returned from the farm. They were not rich, but Lola had everything a child could ask for: love, care, and laughter. But then, Auntie Patricia came. Auntie Patricia had just lost her husband in a ghastly motor accident. They said the car somersaulted 3 times on the Lagos-Benin Expressway. Everyone in the village mourned with her when she returned to village for the burial. Her face was always filled with tears, and she barely spoke to anyone. After the burial, she asked Lola's parents if she could take Lola to Benin City to live with her. "She is such a beautiful girl," she had said. "She will be like the daughter I never had. My boys will love her." Her words were soft, and her voice sounded sincere. Lola's parents, thinking it was a good opportunity, agreed. With heavy hearts, they packed Lola's small clothes and gave her to Auntie Patricia. That was the last time Lola saw peace. At first, the city of Benin amazed her: so many cars, tall buildings, and people everywhere. But soon, Lola began to understand that her new life was not going to be sweet. Auntie Patricia, the same woman who once smiled and said kind things, had changed. She was harsh, cold, and always shouting. Her 2 sons, James, 10 years old, and Junior, 5 years old, went to a private school every morning with neat uniforms and food flasks. But Lola, she was given a tray and 20 bags of pure water to sell under the hot sun. "Don't come back here if you don't sell everything," Auntie Patricia would yell every morning. When Lola tried to ask about going to school like James and Junior, her aunt slapped her gently across the face and said, "School? Are you not lucky I even feed you? Ungrateful child." Lola missed her parents. She often cried at night when no one was watching. Her aunt would speak to her parents on the phone and lie to them. "She's doing well," she would say. "She's sleeping now. Or she went for lessons." But Lola wasn't sleeping. Lola wasn't in any lesson. She was in the street, dodging cars, begging people to buy her water. Sometimes, men would call her names, try to touch her, or follow her. When she came home to report, Auntie Patricia would say, "Stop lying. You want to destroy my name, evil child. I knew you were a witch the day I brought you here." Lola would curl up in her corner of the small kitchen where she slept, and cry silently. Her aunt never believed her, never listened. Some nights, she went to bed without food. Other nights, she was forced to sleep outside on the cold veranda if she didn't sell all 20 bags. As the years passed, Lola grew into a quiet, smart, and beautiful girl. She was now 10. Though she had never stepped into a school, she taught herself to read and write by picking old newspapers from the market and listening to people speak. But her suffering didn't end. Her body became weak from carrying heavy trays. Her eyes always looked tired. The market women pitied her. Some gave her snacks. Others warned her to be careful with certain men. But none could change her fate. By the time she was 15, Lola had become a shadow of herself. She was still selling water, still crying, still being ignored. Every day was the same: wake up early, fetch water, sell water, avoid trouble, return home, and pray to sleep without pain. Then one cloudy afternoon, everything changed. Lola had just finished selling her last 2 bags of water. She was walking home along a busy road. Her body was tired. Her head felt heavy. She didn't see the car coming. Screech. The sound of brakes. A loud scream. People rushed to the scene. Bags of water scattered on the ground. Lola lay there, quiet and still. Her tray rolled into the gutter. The accident happened so fast that no one knew where to begin. A young woman came rushing through the crowd. "Someone call an ambulance," she shouted. Lola was barely breathing. Her leg was twisted badly, and her forehead had a small cut that bled slowly. She looked so fragile, lying there in her wet clothes. Luckily, a kind man in a kicking napep tricycle offered to take her to the nearest clinic. That man would become the first light in Lola's dark world. At the small health center, nurses cleaned her wounds. She slept for 2 days. When she woke up, her voice was weak. "Water, please," she whispered. The nurses gave her water and porridge. One nurse, Nurse Ino, stayed by her side. "Who is your guardian?" she asked gently. Lola hesitated. She was afraid to speak. But Nurse Ino smiled kindly. "You're safe now, my dear. No one will hurt you here." Lola told her everything. From the age of 5 to now. The water. The lies. The hunger. The pain. Nurse Ino had tears in her eyes. She reported the case to the hospital director, who quickly contacted the Ministry of Women Affairs. A social worker visited the clinic. They asked Lola many questions, but they asked them with care. Then they did something unexpected. They called Lola's parents. Her mother screamed on the phone. "What do you mean my daughter is in the hospital? She's in Benin with her aunt." "No, Ma," the social worker said. "She's here. And she needs you." 2 days later, Lola's parents arrived in Benin. When her mother saw her, she fell to her knees and cried like a baby. "My child. My sunshine." Her father hugged her gently, careful not to touch her wounds. They turned to the nurse and said, "Thank you for saving our child." But the matter didn't end there. The ministry followed the case. They paid a visit to Auntie Patricia's home. She denied everything at first. But when witnesses from the market came forward, and Lola's medical report was submitted, the truth became clear. Auntie Patricia was taken in for questioning. Meanwhile, Lola began to heal. Slowly. She stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. Then the government arranged transport for her and her parents back to village. For the first time in 10 years, Lola slept in her mother's arms. But her journey was not over yet.